So red's going to make use of their special ability here, so they can use this again. They're going to pay $1. They're going to get 3 power and a popularity, so we get the 3 power there. And we do have 1 wood left on the board, so we can pay that wood there to build a structure. And that'll give us $3 extra here, and then we can build our last structure, which is our mine. And so I'm going to go ahead and put this here. So I've got a worker there, and it's worth noting you can't build a structure, more than one structure in each territory, but I built out my 4th, and I do have a contiguous line of them. You can see that they're all connected. So I am going to put out a star onto the board up here since I've built my 4th structure. So now it's 2-0. Black's slacking over here. And it's worth noting that I can now move from this tunnel here, which is sort of safe here behind my river, out to any of these other tunnels out here on the border. I could even leap down here, you know, towards this tunnel to get in Black's face over here, or this tunnel even here, right where they're at. Okay, so Black's going to take advantage of this little combo he's been setting up. He's going to pay 1. He's going to bolster, so he's going to get 3 power, and he's going to be able to deploy a mech. Now, if you remember, when the red player has the enlistment because he knows he's going to be deploying stuff, so red's also going to get a coin out of this operation, so I'll give it to him now. So Black gets 3 power, so he's going to go up 3. He has the 1 steel because his mechs are really cheap now. So he gets the 1 steel cost, and he gets 3 coins there. Then we're going to decide which mech to put out. So we've got 2 options here for our 3rd mech. Underpass allows it to move between mines, anything that, you know, produces steel, and tunnels, any of our mines and tunnels. Or we've got Disarm, which is the one I'm going to choose. It says before combat on a territory with a tunnel, then the opponent gets a -2 power there. So we're going to go ahead and choose him. And you can put these out where there's a worker, so he's going to jump right up there in the front lines. And so we've got 3 mechs now. We just need 1 more for the Black player to get a star out finally. Well, red's just going to camp here. He's trying to drive up his power to get another star. He's going to pay this buck. He's going to get 3 power and a popularity. He doesn't have any wood or structures to build, so he's going to ignore that part of it. So he's going to get 3 power there. So he just needs to do it 1 more time to get that star. And he bumps up here into the popularity, which will get him close to jumping into sort of that next bracket. So the next highest multiplier for all this endgame bonuses. Now Black's going to jump over here. They're going to do the move action. They do have 2 oil here to help them upgrade, so I'm going to put those there as a reminder. And again, we can move 3 different units now at this time. So what we're going to do actually is we're going to take and move these 2 guys up here. They're going to be a little bit aggressive there, and they're also going to move in this mech here, so that's 2 movements. You can see there now we've got a little bit of head-to-head action going. And then finally we're going to move our character now 2 spaces, and he's going to be in the factory. So the way that this works is you are the first character to go into the factory. So there is a deck, a very small deck of factory cards. Now there's a large number of these cards, but you take 1 equal to the number of players plus 1. So in this case we've got 3 cards. And then I get to take a look at these and then figure out which cool special thing or action or ability I'm going to add to my board. And then I'll put 2 back here. So the next player that comes in then can, if they get in there, can look through those and then take that choice. So I decided on this one here, this jetpack. So I'm going to take this ability, I'm going to move these cards down here, and stick this to the right of my player board. So in effect, I have a new action. You only ever get 1 extra action here. So if we zoom in a little bit there and move over, you can see that if I decide to take this action, I can pay 1 of these combat cards, and then I get 2 popularity. Now the bottom action of these is always the same, and that allows you to move 1 unit 2 spaces, or in the case of the Black player here, up to 3, because you get the +1 movement there. And again, remember I said we have this here. This is the upgrade, and we can pay that. We will get $1 from the bank, so we get our $1 there. And then now we can choose to upgrade. And I think we only have 3 upgrades that we need left to do. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and take this one since we are planning on spending the combat cards, just to take that off. So next time we do that, we'll get 2 combat cards, or at least have the possibility of that. And I think I'm going to upgrade the buildings here. One thing to note, kind of the reason I decided that was because you can maintain control of a region with no workers or mechs or anything there if you just have a building there and there's no other opponents in there. So that's kind of a nice way to just make sure that you have control over that much territory. Well, not surprisingly, red's going to take this action again for a couple of reasons. One, so they can get the star. The other is because combat is now imminent. So we're going to pay here the buck, and then we're going to get our 3 power. And it's good to do this now because once you start spending power for combat or also producing, then it may be hard to hit that upper echelon, that top tier. So this will push red up to here, and again, they can put a star out. So we'll put this out here. Now it's probably worth talking about the black player's special abilities. You notice there's actually 2 spots here for combat. So for 2 victories in combat, you can get 2 stars out. So all black has to do is win twice, and they're back up. But black has, his special ability is there's no limit to the number of stars you can place from completing objectives and winning combat. So they can really try to sort of double down on their objective cards, which they can score both of, and also they can win multiple combats and get a lot of points that way. Now black's going to do similar action. They're going to go here, and they're going to pay the $1, and they are going to take and grab again 3 power, and they're going to build their last mech. So they're going to jump up 3 power here. They have this last steel here from the mill that they can use for the mech. And as we remember, red player was smart to enlist the deployment action, so they also get a free $1 on top of that. Black will get $3, and they're going to build their final mech. So he will come out. Again, this allows you to move between mines that you control and tunnels. He's probably going to put it right there. So, and then he'll put his first star out. So black will put out a star there. So it's now only 3-1, and black has a much bigger, scarier army. Red's going to go ahead and produce. So you can see they can produce, they have to pay a power. They produce 2 spots in the mill. So they'll drop back down here to 15. So again, the mill here is on the wood, and we're going to produce in 2 other spots. We definitely want to produce some steel because we're behind on the mech race. And I think we want to also produce some oil here because we need to do some upgrades. Now black is going to start some fireworks. They're going to go here. They can move up to 3 separate units there. And if they wanted to, they could also upgrade, but they don't have enough oil out currently. So we're not going to worry about that. But probably, as you guessed it, the 3 mechs are going to move into here. We'll go ahead and leave these workers behind like that. And, well, I tell you what, let's just take one. Yeah, we'll just take one with us because I'm pretty sure black's going to win there. So, actually, I swapped out the wrong thing there. That should be a worker. I took the oil instead earlier. So he's here. He'll be moving with them. Now, you normally can't move in with workers because they don't do combat if you're going to trigger combat there. But in this case, you can carry some with you. So now what combat is going to work is we're going to take the power of each player, and then we're also going to take combat cards. We're going to add them into the equation. So you can play combat cards equal to the character or mech. So red can play 1 combat card, and black can play up to 3 combat cards. Now there's a fair swing in the combat cards, so they could come into play. But the first thing you're going to do, or at least think about, is how much power you're going to quote-unquote bid. Now if we look at here, you say, okay, well red's got a fair advantage in power, but these power dials you can see only go up to 7. You can see the 7 circled here. So the most you can ever spend on these is 7. So just for argument's sake, I'm going to say both players spend 7 because this is a pretty crucial early part of the game here. So if they both spent 7, what you can do, let's say this is the black player here, and he can take and add up to 3 because he's got 3 mechs combat cards. So he could say, okay, I'm going to take that, and I'm just going to go all in, and I'm going to put all these in. So you usually just kind of tuck these in here, and everybody will have this sort of hidden, and then you'll reveal, and then you'll show the cards and add up all the power there. So you'll add that. So I'll say, and you don't know if I added any or none or what. So you kind of do that under the table, and then you'll spend these and you'll lose them. Now if you're the loser, like red's going to be, and let's say they spent 7 here, but all they had was this 2. You know, they go, oh, I'll add the 2. I know I'm going to lose anyway. Because if you're the loser, you will get 1 combat card back if you lose, if you spent a card. Now, if you spent multiple, you don't get any more back. You just get 1. But if you reveal combat cards and you lose, you get 1 back as a replacement. So in this case, what's going to happen with the outcome of that combat is any losing units are going to go back to the home base here. So we'll zoom out a bit. He'll go back to here. Now any workers that went back, black would actually lose popularity for. Black doesn't care about that too much right now. So they're going to move into here. Now they've got a worker in here, so they're going to be able to generate a little bit. Now red still controls this building. Black doesn't control or use it, but red can't do anything with it while black's in here. So, but now black also controls that wood that was produced earlier. So that's a good thing. And black gets to put a star out. So black has his first combat star. And again, usually at most you can get 2, but black can really go after it and try to get multiple combat victories. Again, being careful not to lose popularity, because like I said, for each worker that you kick out, you sort of lose popularity. So you could, as in effect, put out sort of like a meat shield of workers to sort of, well, think about that how you want, but you could do that as sort of a defensive tactic to, make a black think twice about just coming in and, and kicking out 3 workers and losing a bunch of popularity. So I think I'm going to call it quits. It's about 2 hours of recording. I'm sure I'll edit it down a bunch, but you can see it's 3-2, 3 red, 2 black. Black's gone very combat heavy. Red's got a little bit more engineering. They kind of exploited their special ability to get some of these sometimes harder to obtain goals. So again, the first person that gets 6 stars is going to end the game. You're going to add up the money that you have, and then you're going to go ahead and add up, again, let's look at the end of game bonuses here, and we'll take a look there. And so the amount of stars you have, however far you've moved up the track, is how much money you're going to get. So red's going to move up to here, and so they're going to say, okay, I've got 6 stars out, let's say, so 6 times 24. Where black's, maybe he's got 4 stars out, but he might have, kick some more butt in the game. He's only gonna get $3 per star. And you look at the number of territories that you control, multiply that where you're at in the popularity, and then every 2 resources is going to give you some money here based on your popularity. So that's, even though you might go in and take over a bunch of control and territory like black's doing, you may not necessarily win the game. And if you trigger that last star going on the board, you may not win the game either. Okay, so that's a little bit of a playthrough of Scythe. So I will also follow this up with a review. I'll just post these both at the same time. And I hope you got a good sense of most of the stuff that's in the game. We had a little combat there at the end. We had different ways of generating those stars and a little discussion about the end game bonuses. And also you can kind of see the different tactics that you can take. Red was kind of playing like a Euro player, right? He was sort of just generating, abusing his ability, getting out his structures and really going after those, those stars without losing too much popularity. Black was taking a little bit more of a risk. They were spending a little bit of their popularity to sort of run up the war effort and hopefully, kind of corner red off a little bit, and then also, maybe try to recover some of that popularity and so on. So there's some very interesting kind of thematic sort of consequences when you start to think about that, some implications in terms of, how people exploit things and stuff like that. So I'll leave all that for the review though. Hopefully this was a good playthrough though, and definitely point out any mistakes. I know I caught myself a couple times making some, but I think I caught them, so I think we're okay. And I'll definitely annotate the video if there's any mess ups. Okay, thank you.